Hey everybody, this is Vic Moss with Moss Photography, and I want to put this out real quick, kind of to let everybody know why I changed my mind about attending the AUVSI FAA Symposium this year. Like most of you when it came out, I sort of jumped the gun a little bit, and like most of you, I've kind of been suffering from Zoom meeting fatigue, and just basically assumed that when this was announced here a couple weeks ago, that this was just going to be another glorified Zoom meeting, and I really saw no value in it, and made that sort of vocal. I kind of jumped the gun, I really did. And both AUVSI and the FAA were more than kind enough to let me reach out to them and kind of get a little bit more about what's going on. And so I wanted to put this out to let y'all know the whys of why I changed my mind. Basically, this is not going to be a glorified meeting, I promise. What else is this not going to be? It's not going to be a series of online lectures either. There is going to be not only the opportunity to interact with people in the different I'll still use the term webinar, but different webinars and rooms and chat rooms and fireside chats and things like that, that you would have in person. It's going to be the robustness of an actual in-person meeting without the physical ability to, pull somebody aside and set them off into a side room and just have that discussion. But it will have that ability, it will just be virtual. So what else is it not? It's really not for everyone. I'm going to be honest here, and then not everybody would want to go to this, to be quite honest. I'm sort of a policy wonk, so I really like digging into this side of things in the industry, and it's not one of those conferences where you go in and you start asking questions like, hey, what do I do now? What drone do I get? What is this? What's that? As far as the here and now. This is geared more towards those who are really interested in not only understanding and knowing about what's going to happen with the UAS industry in the future, but also to get in front of the people, this time virtually, obviously instead of physically, but get in front of these people that are making the decisions, making those policy decisions, and give them some feedback. Get those questions answered that you might have about a waiver or an authorization, or why is this not working? Why is this working this way, but I'd like to see it this way? These are the ways you can get back and actually get in front of people and talk to that subject matter expert, including those in the FAA. Last year in Baltimore was one of the best parts about the symposium was the fact that the FAA had a bunch of people there to answer your questions. I mean, literally face-to-face, one-on-one questions being answered in that area, and it got to the point actually where I'd look over there and I'd start walking over there, and they'd all turn their faces. It was kind of fun. It was in joke. It was it was in jest, but still, I took way more advantage of that situation than I probably should have. But that's sort of how I do things sometimes. But that ability will also be there for the virtual side of things. You're going to have that whole crew, the whole UAS crew, and others there to talk to you about things, and you can raise your hand, however they're going to do it in the virtual rooms, and you can sit there and you can talk back and forth with them. You can even have some private chats with people there. You can also have private chats with other attendees, so that's kind of a nice little feature as well. Some of the objections that I've heard and had, obviously, was the cost. This is not a pay-per-play or pay-to-play type situation, I promise you that. There are some legalities involved as to why this can't be free and why the FAA has to partner with an organization like AUVSI. AUVSI is the one putting this on, and it's coming out of their pocket. The FAA, like all government agencies, are not allowed to pay for things like this. And the reason for that is actually, if y'all remember, 10 years ago in Vegas, the NSA had, I'm sorry, not the NSA, the GSA, not the NSA, we wouldn't have heard about that. The GSA had a convention in Vegas that apparently things that happen in Vegas do not always stay in Vegas. There was a lot of reports that came out about that, and then 2 years later down the road, the Obama administration went ahead and just changed all the rules based on that and really restricted what government agencies are allowed to do in situations where you're going to have a convention or get together or things like that. There are things you cannot pay for as a government agency. That includes things like space and food and things like that. So in order to put something on like the symposium and any other number, the FAA puts out tons of these. This is just the main one for the UAS. You know, they have the manned aviation side, and they have ground crews, and they have all kinds of different things that they have to put work with industry partners with to put together. So the AUVSI was partnered with this, and they're the ones footing the bill. And so it's basically they need to recoup their costs, obviously, in a situation like this. So that's why they came up with the pricing structure. And it's not all just a single price. It's going to be a two-day events. And so let's look here on the registration page. You can see this July 8th and 9th, August 18th and 19th. If you want the whole thing, it's $375, which is what I bought, or will be buying here a little bit as soon as I'm done with this. You can also do either or in a situation like this where it's $249. At $299, they have government, military, public safety, and student passes. So, you know, if you qualify for one of those, you can save some money, or you can save your organization some money if they're paying for it. And then you can just do these two things down here too, where you just have a one-day pass. So basically the best thing to do really is take a look at the site. I'll have the link down here below in the description where you can go and take a look and just cruise through the site. I mean, we can do this here real quick. You've got a really good, you know, different programs you're going to have, the keynotes, fireside chats, that's kind of cool, you know, kind of a President Carter-esque, so that's interesting. How-to sessions, and you got a full schedule here. Some of the how-to sessions, looking through here, one of my favorite one obviously is going to be Kevin's right here. As a drone pro, it's really a neat way to do it, and he's going to show you how to do that if it's something you want to do. And then you're going to have the panel sessions. They've got the entire panel session schedule up for the upcoming one here in the next 8 or 9 days, second week in July, and they're still working obviously on the other ones, the August panel. So, you know, if you don't want to do this one coming up, then do the next one. It works really well. And then you've got the full schedule here. So again, the reason I jumped to the conclusion I did when they first announced this, one, it was kind of premature when they did announcement, in my opinion. They should have waited just a little bit or sent out a save the date or something like that. But now that they've got the stuff online, I hope y'all take an opportunity to really just sit down, take a look, go through the website here, and really kind of decide for yourself if you want to spend the money to go ahead, you know, $375 to get both of them, or $199 or whatever it was now, I can't remember, if you just want to do one day or the other. I think it's going to be worth it if you're in the sphere of wanting to get in front of people and talk about how this industry is going to look in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, and get some input really on what that looks like. If you're just going to be there to, you know, kind of kibitz the thing, it's probably not for you, and you really shouldn't pay for something like that, because all of this content is going to be online once it's over. I mean, you look back, you look back here, they've got the last 3 years online already, so you can go back and look at those, and that'll happen again as well for this coming one coming up. So if it's just something you want to take a look at, you know, find out what's being said, find out what some of the people are talking about, find out how to become a drone pro, whatever. You can do that after the fact. You don't have to pay the money to do it up front. But if you want to get in front of the people and talk to these policy makers, really, either at the FAA level, the industry level, DOT level, whatever level that is that you want to get in front of, this is a really great, grand opportunity for you to do this. And you're not going to have to worry about travel costs, hotels. You know, it's not the $699 it costs when you go to the one in Baltimore, which I've been to. I loved it. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm definitely a pro symposium person. But they understand it's not for everybody. So, you know, if it's not something that really kind of floats your boat, so to speak, you know, like me, I mean, I love the policy stuff, kind of to a fault, actually. Take a look at it. Go to the website, take a look at it, take a look at the calendar, pick one, pick the other, just pick a one day, and figure out exactly which part of this you'd like to look into, and maybe be involved in a deeper level than just going online or going into the forums and talking about what is what in the industry. So anyway, hopefully this will convey some people, I'm sorry, not convey, hopefully this will persuade some people that maybe this is good. It's not a pay-per-play situation, because, you know, you'll have access to everything after the fact. It's not necessarily a pay-per-play to get in front of people, because you have, you know, UAS help at FAA.gov. You've got the 800 number. A lot of people in the UAS office are very open to emails. Their emails, if you want to look for them, are publicly available. They're public servants. As a government employee, your email is publicly available. But this is a much better chance to get in front of people. So is it advantageous to go? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie about it. But you don't have to go to be able to get your input to the people who are able to make those decisions. But being there virtually in this case is really going to help people understand and hear from us drone operators and drone pilots that, what you're doing really isn't working this way, or this works really great, thank you very much. Don't just come to complain and bitch. I want you to go ahead and also thank them, because they do a lot of work behind the scenes at the FAA UAS Integration Office and other agencies as well, or other offices as well within the agency. So I think Michael probably put it best. I was able to talk with Michael Wilbur from AUVSI. He was kind enough to give me a half hour a couple weeks ago, and this is a little late getting out thanks to some different situations. But he really did put it best. This is not going to be a Zoom meeting. It's not going to be a GoToMeeting meeting. It's not going to be a Microsoft Office meeting. This is going to be a full, robust, complete symposium on a virtual platform. This will be a symposium, and the only difference is you're not going to be there. So take a look. Don't let me make your mind up for you. But go ahead and in there, take a look. Go to the website down below here, and take a look and see if it's worth it for you. I think it is for me. I don't think it is for everybody, but that's my opinion, and I wanted to kind of clear the record a little bit. I didn't want to sound like somebody who does one thing and says another when I was complaining about the price, and then I went ahead and bought the ticket. So it's more of a, this is why I did this sort of thing. So hopefully this helps. This has been Vic Moss with Moss Photography. If you have any questions at all, I'll have my email below as well. Feel free to reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to the people at the FAA, AUVSI. If you go on the website, there are a couple of email addresses for AUVSI. If you have any questions, it's there for them as well. So hopefully that helps. Thanks again. Vic Moss with Moss Photography. Fly fun, fly safe, fly smart, and be careful. Bye-bye.